Hello everyone and welcome back to another informative video by Crypto Robert. Now before we get into today's subject, I wanted to give a shout out to everybody in the United Kingdom, because when I had a gander at all my YouTube statistics, I saw that almost 8% of my viewers were coming from the United Kingdom. I say, blimey, would you look at that? I tell you, even Lord Grantham would approve. Isn't that totally brilliant? Okay, enough of that. Let's get into today's subject, Crypterra cloud mining. In today's video, I'm going to discuss two alternatives to Genesis-Mining and Hashflare, the market leaders in Bitcoin cloud mining. With the explosion in the price of Bitcoin in the last 6 months, there's been a lot of companies that have rushed in to cash in on cloud mining. After doing some preliminary vetting, I discovered a company called Crypterra.net. It's a very interesting company, and I would like to share my thoughts on this alternative, what I consider a viable alternative to Hashflare and Genesis-Mining. Let's get going. Just who are the people behind Crypterra.net? Where are they located? Well, those questions are a little difficult to answer based on the information provided on the website. But more on that a little later as I dig around a little bit and figure out just who the people behind Crypterra might be and where they're actually located. But what really does stick out, actually, is the price, the low price of their mining operation. Now, of course, they're mining several different coins. A lot of cloud mining websites mine multiple coins, like Hashflare and Genesis. They're mining Bitcoin. Crypterra is mining Bitcoin, Litecoin, Etherium, Monero, and ZCash. Now, for the lowest cost entry into Crypterra for Bitcoin is a 250 gigahashes. Now, it's a $32 2-year contract. Think about that, $32 for a 2-year contract, and you're estimated to make in that time $395. Now, contrast that with Hashflare, who just recently increased their prices. That same 250 gigahashes, $55. And remember, that's $55 per year. So if you want to have the same amount of hash power and the same amount of money you're going to make relatively, you need to spend $110 for that 250 gigahashes, as opposed to Crypterra, which is a 2-year $32 contract or $16 per year. You can see that the return on the investment is amazing with Crypterra. It's about almost 1,000% return on your investment. And from here, it's easy to extrapolate and scale the savings that you can have when you compare to the price to other popular plans. For example, if you want 1 terahash or 1,000 gigahashes of power at Hashflare, with a new price that went into effect, that's $220. Well, how much is 1 terahash on Crypterra? Well, let me click the Order Now button. If you click that, it takes you, I'm already logged in, so it's taking me to my dashboard. If I want to click on Order More, basically I just click on the mining button here, or mining tab, I should say. And this takes me to these little allocations here, mining allocation. There's a little sliding scale. I'm going to scroll this up to about 1,000 gigahashes. That's $128, again, for a 2-year contract. And you'll earn about $1,580 over the course of that 2 years. Now, remember, on Hashflare, for that same 1,000 gigahashes, or 1 terahash, that's going to cost you $220 for the first year, $220 for the second year. That's $440. Whereas with Crypterra, they are offering this same power for much less money, for $128. Now, is that a red flag? It might be. But I've actually been testing the platform, and I'll explain later how I was able to get a payment today for a very small amount of money, but more on that later. So why is Crypterra so cheap where other cloud mining companies are getting more and more expensive? Well, the answer in part lies in what they're telling us here in their About page, about Crypterra. Now, notice what it says here. Why choose Crypterra mining? I'm just going to read that verbatim. It says, The rigs you rent use very cheap electricity with Galaxy data center cooling systems. Is specifically designed for critical applications where precise conditioning of air is essential. The price you see is the price you pay. So they're claiming here that they're getting very cheap electricity and that they're using these Galaxy data center cooling systems. Now, what is a Galaxy center or Galaxy data center cooling system? Well, simply put, it's a very sophisticated refrigeration system. Let's go to their website. Here on their website, and by the way, this is a UK-based company, and they make all kinds of applications, industrial refrigeration systems. Also, they do data centers. So they specialize in cooling down large server farms. In fact, that's one of their specialties. They even make specialized equipment, like you see in the picture here, that cools down and creates a very cool environment for these hot processors to run. Now, you may not realize it, that the hotter a processor runs, the more electricity it uses. So also, the hotter a processor runs, the more technical malfunctions and all kind of bad things happen. So it's really essential that a Bitcoin server farm or cloud mining operation is kept as cool as possible. The cooler the temperatures, the longer the equipment lasts, and the cooler the temperatures, the less electricity that is being consumed. So, but what really is interesting, though, is that they're saying that they're using very little electricity. But I find that hard to believe when they put their contact location as Ireland. Let's go back to their website here. If you go to the contact page, and they offer a support phone, an email, a phone number, and a live chat. Interestingly enough, you click on the live chat button and it doesn't work. So they're probably working on that, I hope. Maybe that will be enabled. If they're not going to have live chat, then they need to remove that button, in my opinion. But if you click on, there's actually no physical address listed here. It's only listed in the sidebar here. 18 College Green in Dublin, Ireland. If you click on the larger map, and what you're seeing here is the location. If I click on the picture here, we zoom in a little bit, 18-19 College Green in Dublin, where it says this Tesco Express here. Right above that, you'll notice it says IT Solutions. Now, that is a computer consulting company, and there's many other companies within this structure here. If I click up again, there is a scroll in, zoom in a little bit. There's a bunch of other offices that are up here. Now, in doing this, in searching for their address, and specifically, if I go back in Google here, let me just scroll out a little bit. Click on, I'm going to copy this entirely into the clipboard here. Copy that and paste it here. The first thing that comes up is Dublin Office Center, and what this is a place where you can rent office space. So basically, the address that's been provided on the Crypterra website actually is a virtual office. They're not physically located there. There is actually no cloud mining operations going on at that location there in Dublin. Which, is that necessarily a red flag? Well, is it wrong for a company not to have their to separate their customer service operations from their actual physical warehouse operations? Not necessarily. I mean, think about Amazon. When you call Amazon, you have a problem, email them, customer support. You're not actually emailing an Amazon warehouse where all the books and products are stored. No, they have a separate center for all of that. So we understand in business that there is sometimes a separation between their customer service and their actual places where they're actually shipping products, and or in this case, where they're doing the cloud mining. So why Ireland? It's kind of hard, but I think they're registered in Ireland as a company because Ireland has a very attractive tax structure. 12.5% corporate tax rate makes it a very excellent haven for a foreign company to come and run an operation in Ireland. And it's very easy paperwork. Ireland has a very pro-business policy there. Many multinational companies like Google and Apple love Ireland for its tax havens and for its English language workforce. It's a very tech-centric economy. And for many reasons, companies like Crypterra and others will do business in Ireland. And these companies are actually from far away. And I think, and if bear with me, that Crypterra actually is a Chinese operation. Let's find out why. Why don't we check out the Whois information, or the Whois lookup information, to see exactly where this website is registered to. So let's go there right now. Open a new tab, browser tab, whois.com/whois. Now if I put in Crypterra, I keep mispronouncing it. It's actually Crypterra, not Cryptoterra. So I apologize for mispronouncing the domain name here. So if we click in, or if I click on the search button here, Crypterra, interesting. It's registered here, it says Online Nick Incorporated, and it has got a domain shield service on it in Hong Kong. Now, nothing wrong with Hong Kong. It's an international banking center. It's a lot of money flows into Hong Kong. It also has a great tax structure, a tax haven. But it does have a Hong Kong website is registered there, and the actual owners are not actually specified anywhere on this Whois lookup. So they want to hide behind a private registration. I find that very ironic when you consider back on their, if you go back to the Crypterra website, on the About page, About Crypterra, scroll down to staff. It says here, I'm going to read this word for word. We do not hide, and our business is transparent. Well, for a company that says right on the website that they're transparent, and at the same time they have a private registration on the domain, and you know, it kind of really doesn't add up here. So for this reason, I feel that Crypterra actually is not based in Ireland, that the actual mining, it can't be based in Ireland. You consider that Ireland, it costs the average 25 cents per kilowatt hour, whereas China only charges about 5 to 6 to 7 cents per kilowatt hour. Combine that with, if they are using these Galaxy cooling centers, or to keep cooling down all their servers with those that very expensive chilling equipment, combined with the cheap electricity, it's probably the reason why they can charge much lower costs on their cloud mining operations. Now, of course, I could be completely wrong. This Crypterra website could be a complete scam and a fake, and that wouldn't really know. I mean, it's 6 months old. It's been paying, actually, and I'm going to get more on the payment process in just 1 second. Now, despite everything that I've discovered about Crypterra and their dubious location and where they are and why, and they're hiding it, nevertheless, I'm still invested in the company. Was still drawn to that lower cost. So how much do I have invested in Crypterra? Let me go back to my account page here. So if I click on my account page, I have a total of 2.35 or terahashes, or 2,350 gigahashes of Bitcoin hash rate, and I have about 12 megahashes of Ethereum. This testing out the Ethereum and how that's going. Now, this cost me a total of $300 for the Bitcoin and about $90 for the Ethereum. So I'm invested in about $390. How much am I making a day? Well, for the Bitcoin, I'm making about $4.50 a day. And for Ethereum, I'm making about $2.33 a day. Roughly about $7.50 to $8 per day with my current hash power. And if I want to buy more, again, it's very simple to add more power to my contract. All I have to do is click on the mining button, say I want to add another terahash of Bitcoin power. Scroll the slider here up to say terahash. Let me get that's a little sticky to okay, exactly. That's going to cost $128. And if I click on checkout, I'm not going to complete the checkout. I just wanted to show you here that there's a nice, really nice option. If you click on the pay, you can pay with two different ways. Now, they don't take credit card payments like Hashflare and Genesis, but they do accept two different cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin and Litecoin. Litecoin is great because the transaction fees are much lower than Bitcoin. In the last week or so, the Bitcoin transaction fees have been really high, $30, $40 per transaction. Now, they've been going down quite a bit, actually. So we're basically getting back to quote-unquote normal Bitcoin transaction fees of maybe $4 or $5, hopefully soon. But the fact that you can pay with Litecoin really is a strong selling point, I think, for Crypterra. Now, of course, not having being able to pay with credit card, that is probably a turnoff for some folks as well. But if you really just want to pay quickly with your cryptocurrencies, you can certainly do that. Every time I've paid for a contract on Crypterra, it's especially with Litecoin, I've had a confirmation within a couple of minutes, within a half hour, the transaction went through, and then the hash power was added, and I started making money right away with the additional mining power. Well, that about wraps it up on this video of Crypterra.net. Now, for those of you that are curious and want to give it a try, I provided my link below. But full disclosure, that is my affiliate link. So if you do make a purchase by clicking on that link, I will be getting a little bit of piece of whatever you purchase. If you don't want to do that, then you can go right to Crypterra.net. Of course, I appreciate if you use the link as well. Just bear in mind that all investing is risky. Even if the website seems legitimate and is paying and is profitable, you need to keep in mind that there is always the potential that this Bitcoin cloud mining operation could very well be a scam. Again, I don't have any proof that it is. It is paying. Before I finish the video, I want to show you that I did receive payment from a test. I wanted to test out the platform before doing this video. And essentially, I took out about $18.67. If you click on the overview here, my total withdrawal is now, in today's value, is $19.81. Click on the withdrawal history. That was yesterday on December 26th. And if I check on the transaction ID, you can see that it has confirmed. My wallet address is right here, 1BIA. I don't memorize my address here. I just memorize the first 3 or 4 letters here, and that's exactly the amount of Bitcoin, 0.0012068. Again, compare that to what was sent out. Again, 0.0012060 BTC. Now, this took quite a long time because the amount of, there was 53 transactions in this 53 outputs, or 53 different addresses here in this one transaction, and it took hours and hours and hours. How long? Well, it took about 8 hours before a miner even picked this up, because if you notice here, the amount transacted is about $10,000 or so, and the amount of fees that they actually included were only about $49. So probably the miners didn't like the fact that they weren't getting a lot of money out of that transaction, but it's probably one way that Crypterra could afford to send out very small amounts of Bitcoin. In this case, I was surprised that they actually was able to send out the $18.67, which is now $19. If you look at the Crypterra website, you click on Contact, and there is a knowledge base here, or frequently asked questions, and one of them is I have purchased some hash rate. When will I get a payout? And here's what you want to pay attention to. Minimum amount is $10 equivalent. So whatever $10 or so, every time you have $10 or more, you can actually withdraw from Crypterra, which is really cool because, you know, it costs a lot of money to take, right now with Hashflare, you have to have like the equivalent of like, you know, $700 or $800 worth of Bitcoin before Hashflare allows you to withdraw. In fact, I'm actually still waiting for a withdrawal from Hashflare. For the last week or so, I'm waiting to have enough Bitcoin. So, well, that's that on this video. If you like what you've learned about Crypterra, please click the like button. If you think this is a complete scam, a waste of money, you can click don't like. You can actually, let me know in the comment section below. I'm very happy that anyone stops and comments. I can't give this a 100% endorsement for the various reasons I have discussed, but if you want to take the risk and you think that you can make a little bit of money on this, maybe in the short term at least, then why not give it a try? With a 1,000% return on your investment, you're going to make your money back pretty quickly. And even if this site goes down in a couple of weeks or a couple of months, which I hope it doesn't, you'll still going to come out ahead if you don't invest too much. So start small if you do invest, and build yourself up a little bit. So maybe 250 gigahashes and get a little bit more. Pay out as often. Take as much, since they're allowing $10 or less, take out $20, $30 at a time, and just keep taking out, and that way you will get back your entire return on your initial investment there. So that's all for now. Take care, and I'll see you on my next video. Crypto Robert out.